Hi, this is Riddick Big Daddy Bo, two-time former world heavyweight champion, and you're watching Cool True Sports.
True School Sports.
True School Sports.
There you go, champ. Thank you.
Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, Oscar De La Hoya, the golden boy himself, he was speaking to the media recently just about, I guess some things that he would like to happen for the future. And in a recent interview, Golden Boy had expressed, Oscar De La Hoya had expressed some frustrations, some displeasures that he's had in trying to make fights with Al Haymon. And look, a lot of people in boxing, right? Before I get to the comments, every power broker in boxing, of the four big power promoters in boxing, the three other ones besides PBC and Al Haymon and them guys. Eddie Hearn's had problems with Al Haymon. Bob Arum's had problems making fights with Al Haymon. Oscar's had problems making fights with Al Haymon. So like my boy Rick Glazer says, okay, if one person's saying something, saying one thing, that's one thing. But if you got three people all making the same claim, there may be some truth in quantity. There may be some claim to what those three people are saying. So in saying that and establishing that here on True School Sports, let's get into the comments from Oscar De La Hoya, and then we'll dissect from there. So Oscar De La Hoya stated the following, and I quote, "Any Al Haymon guy is going to be a problem to make a fight because of Al Haymon. But I'm going to try and make the best fights possible. I'm bringing you Dimitri Bivol versus Zoro Ramirez, so that's going to be exciting. And by the way, thank you, Oscar. Thank you. That is a great fight. Very excited for it." He says, "I'm working on Haymon Gia. That's another one. Haymon Gia wants to fight Jamal Charlo. Again, Al Haymon, it's sad because I'm sure Charlo wants to fight the very best. All these fighters want to fight the best. Man, but this is the truth, and it's the God-honest truth," and quote. So there you have it from the Golden Boy himself. And listen, I concur and I agree with his statements. Now, before I get into any further, let me preface everything I'm going to say by also saying I have no problems with people at PBC. I like a lot of people on the staff at PBC that I've met personally. They're great people. I've been to probably as many, if not more, PBC shows than anything. So I've enjoyed a lot of the PBC product. I know a lot of people that work with PBC. I don't have a problem with PBC, but I'm here to tell the truth, and I'm content to tell the truth about boxing and in some of the way PBC does their business, and it's not good for the overall health of the sport. Let's just use history as an example, right? We'll go all the way back to the days when Peter Quillen had the WBO middleweight title, and Matthew Korobov was his mandatory, and I believe it was mandatory. But anyway, that fight was a thing, and Peter Quillen was set to make a career-high $1.4 million payday. And what happened? He vacated the belt. Now, why did he vacate the belt? Because Matthew Korobov was an Al Haymon fighter, and many people speculate that Al Haymon's the reason he dropped the belt. Now, there's no way we'll ever know, but I don't think it's a coincidence that, we keep seeing this a recurring theme of PBC fighters turning down the career-high paydays. Look at Wilder with the Joshua situation. He turned down not one, not two, but three offers to fight Anthony Joshua for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world when they were both undefeated, and it would have made a lot of sense. But and then he fought for less money. Moving forward in his career, he didn't make what he hasn't yet made what he would have made fighting Anthony Joshua, and he hasn't yet accomplished what he would have accomplished had he beaten Anthony Joshua. So it was an ass backwards move. Then you have this whole Crawford and Spence situation, which, by the way, I hope it happens. I believe it will happen, but the fact that we still haven't got an announcement yet, I'm starting to worry a little bit, just myself, just being honest with you. But I'm sticking to my guns. I think it will happen, but look how long it's taken us to get to this point where it's close to happening. And a lot of that is down to just PBC, Al Haymon, Earl Spence, and the way they just do things over there, when it comes to fighting guys who are not within the PBC umbrella of fighters. You know what I'm saying? So those are just a handful of many examples. I mean, look at Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz is talking about, how he doesn't want to fight, or how Ryan Garcia doesn't want to fight him, and we hear about how all these things about how Isaac Cruz won't fight Ryan Garcia. Well, that would be the most money he's ever made. That'd be the biggest fight he'd ever be in. But he's fighting, Eduardo Ramirez and these kind of guys for less money. So You know, I like PBC and I like the way they do some things, but when it comes to making those cross-promotional fights with big names, there's a long check history. Now, if it's a Charles Martin against Anthony Joshua, Felix Diaz versus Terrence Crawford, you know, those type of things, if they're not, if they are fighters that are not high on Al Haymon's priority list, then sure, go ahead. To hell with them. Go fight those guys, cash out, because you're not going to make more money on those guys than you would in that scenario. But like, when it comes to the guys that are higher than PBC pecking order, you know, Danny Garcia, Deontay Wilder, you know, Leo Santa Cruz, Gervonta Davis, these kind of guys, making those cross-promotional fights, Errol Spence, making those cross-promotional fights will always be a pain in the ass. So, listen, I believe Oscar wants to make these fights happen. You know, I didn't tell you guys this, but like 3 weeks ago when I was in LA, around the time when I interviewed Sugar Ray Leonard, that same night, I was at like a social function thing in LA that I got invited to. And I met Oscar De La Hoya. I met him, and I had a great conversation with Bernard Hopkins. They're both there. And I pretty much told Oscar, like, I want to see the Tank fight. Hopefully, you can get it done. And he said he really, really wants to make the fight happen. So, and I believe him. I believe Oscar wants to do. I believe he has his own agenda, like any promoter. But I do believe somewhere in there he wants to do what's best for the sport. I don't think Al Haymon really cares about what's best for the sport, because you got to look at where Al Haymon is coming from. His brother was taken advantage of by the sport, by Bobby Haymon. He was taken advantage of by Don King and exploited by the sport, and pretty much left with nothing by the end of his career. So Al Haymon's main priority has always been to get his fighters paid and the best opportunities where he's in control, right? And he's accomplished that objective. Now, getting them paid the highest possible, he really hasn't accomplished that, because fighters constantly turn down career high money when they were Al Haymon. But as far as them doing that in a structure where he's in control and he can guide and maneuver them how he sees fit and wants them to go, yeah, he's accomplished that goal. So, you know, we'll see what happens, man. But I think Oscar is speaking the God's honest truth about Al Haymon. And that's what it is, you know. Shout out to PBC. Shout out to the fine folks there. I reiterate, I got no problem with PBC. I'm just giving you my unbiased opinion as a boxing fan, as someone who's really observed, you know, how a lot of these cross-promotional fights haven't gotten done, from, you know, the smaller fights like Korobov versus Quillen to mega fights like Joshua versus Wilder, and the list goes on and on and on. We'll see what happens moving forward, but that's where we're at right now. So, yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.
Just like Mayweather's uncles would say, a lot of people don't know shit about boxing. You know, you do. You've done it.
Thank you.
You about the only smart guy that I know, bro. Nobody knows shit about boxing.
I appreciate it, man.
I want to say, man, make sure to follow True School Sports, always covering boxing at the highest level, man, and make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow him on Instagram at Just a Kid from Danny as well.
He the plug.